Hey everybody, Drew here, and you're in my garage. Today it's all about me for once. Instead of working on a car for the office, I did my Solara convertible here, a car I absolutely love. If I was to all of a sudden become a multi-millionaire and can afford any car, I would still restore this one to perfection, which I'm in the process of doing as a poor boy, and I'd keep it. I love it. It drives like a Camry, but it has a convertible top. Nice, soft, comfortable ride. It's economical, but I got it for 1,500 bucks because it has like almost 200,000 miles on it. So I did a little thing. There is all of the rear suspension. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I think they're all right there. Yeah, 6 control arms from the rear. There's the rear struts with their springs on them, front struts. So what I did is I used all Moog. Unfortunately, I couldn't afford all the Toyota stuff. All Moog in the rear. It's not as critical to the front. I used Monroe quick struts in the back. Again, not as critical as the front, and they do feel the same. You know, I pushed the car down before and after, and it rides the same. Up front, I'm not messing around, so I used genuine Toyota struts and the original springs, and believe it or not, the boots, where I bought new boots, but the original ones are better, and they were perfect still because it's a Florida car. And I did new ball joints, new tie rods in and out, put new boots on those. You know, with the exception of the front sway bar links, which were okay, everything on this car, suspension-wise, is brand new. Nothing's left, except, again, the factory front springs and mounts, which were perfect. And they're not, you know, necessarily wear items, right? So those went back on. And the difference is amazing. So convertibles are, you know, unless you're buying like a Bentley Continental, they have a little bit of what's called cowl shake. And that's when you can feel your windshield kind of do this and your steering wheel kind of move side to side over road irregularities that has nothing to do with the suspension or the tires themselves, which are also brand new. I went with Uniroyal Tiger Paws because they are absolutely, and I have hubcaps, by the way, they're just not back on yet. Those are absolutely the smoothest, quietest tire that's not like a Michelin or a Bridgestone, which would have broken my budget. But yeah, everything on the car that has to do with its suspension is brand new. If there's any play left anywhere, and I mean, you'd have to have a special tool to even detect it, it's in the shaft. There's like a spline shaft that connects the steering rack to the steering column, and I'm trying to find one of those to replace it too, but you can't feel it unless, you know, you're really, really looking for it. Underneath here is just covered with some, you know, southern red dirt, but other than that, 1,000% rust free. That cross member there, the subframe, I had to drop the exhaust and the subframe laying on my back by myself to get the bolts that go through. See where that blue is? They go all the way through to the back, and they'll hit the gas tank if you try to take them out otherwise. So I did that. You know, new sway bar links. You can see the new strut there. Everything new, right down to the tires. And as you would expect, it drives like a brand new car now, which is awesome because, again, you know, given a situation with unlimited money, I'd keep this car, and I'd still probably put as many miles as I can every summer on it. I mean, we have some choices. I mean, that's my wife's JZS 149 Crown Majesta. That's got 36,000 miles on it in museum condition. That's a UZS 151 Toyota Crown Majesta. It's a V8 with leather seats, pretty rare. I got my Tundra, which I love. But there's just something about this Solara, even with the top up. You know, we took the kids to a concert this summer, and we're in Rochester, so our nights dropped down to like 55. Even in the summer. It was June 1st, and it dropped down even below that, so we had the top up on the way home. And even with the top up, just such a nice car, because it's not a sports car. Not that I have anything against sports cars, but, you know, I jump in this thing, I want to relax. If I want to, you know, really push something through curves, you know, maybe you know, a Porsche 911 convertible, that'd be great. But for daily driving, this thing is awesome. It rides like an old Camry, just over the bumps, floats. It gets about 24 miles to the gallon, which isn't bad, you know, for a 21-year-old V6 car. But yeah, I just wanted to show you guys what I've been up to in my own personal garage, if you're curious, instead of for work. That is the entire suspension and steering components for a 2000, well, I'd say a 1999 to 2003 Camry Solara convertible. So this was an awesome success. I usually don't do this. Usually I show you guys how to fix stuff, but we have some projects coming up. I'm going to be going back through my 1950 Chevy, putting in possibly a 4.3 liter Lexus V8 with a supercharger and a 6-speed automatic, or if money isn't there, I'll just do an LS like everybody else. And I'm going to build custom power steering for it using this factory front suspension and an Astrovan power steering gear with custom bracketry and linkage and all that. and show you guys some of the cool things I did 10 years ago when I built the car the first time. We've got a 1954 Chevy truck waiting in the wings to be built. That's going to be on a reinforced S10 frame to look bone stock. Might even do four-wheel drive and lift it a little bit instead and put a diesel motor in it. Who knows? But you know, usually I'm showing you how to fix a Prius or how to do, you know, inner tie rods on a RAV4 or whatever. But you know, this is what I'm up to personally. So if you guys are interested in this, if you're already subscribers, please like the video. If you're not subscribers and you like the video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. And if you hate it, if enough people tell me, I'll take it down. I just thought maybe you guys are curious what I do in my spare time. So anyways, I'm Drew. Hopefully this was entertaining. And again, if it was, hit that thumbs up button and subscribe. God bless you. Speaking of God bless you, since I sign off all my videos that way, I thought I'd explain why. So a little bit about me. This is a personal video about my personal car. So I'm going to tell you a little bit of my backstory. So I was raised, you know, somewhat Catholic, never went to church, a little bit of faith there, but nobody really knew what it was about. Very quickly became an atheist as I was taught to be in the public school system in wonderful New York State. I'm sure it's the rest of the way, or same way in the rest of the country in the 90s when I was educated. You know, but I started searching and, you know, I'm kind of a scientific person, so I thought, you know, where did this all come from? And there is absolutely no explanation whatsoever for the universe, the earth, us, without a creator. So it would have had to have always existed, which isn't possible because it's expanding, which means it's finite and therefore it has a beginning. It couldn't have created itself because, you know, the universe that is and everything in it, because it would have had to have existed before it existed to create itself. So that only leaves, you know, some pre-existing eternal set of laws in physics that acted upon new matter. And where I'm at now is, of course, in the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth, right? So you take little facts like, you know, the distance between, you know, the nucleus and the electrons of a hydrogen molecule, I think, plus or minus some obscure percentage, like 5 or 10, something like that. Don't quote me. And we would have either all hydrogen or no hydrogen at all, which of course is not sustainable for life. And you take into the coincidence, you know, the tilt of the Earth's axis. Just there's so many things. And I know the naysayers out there are like, well, there's an infinite number of galaxies pretty much and blah, 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 blah. And this just happens to be where we are. But it's way too much to look past. And that sent me on the journey of, well, okay, well, who is God? And, you know, for me, that's Jesus Christ. And the reason for that is because, you know, I mean, first of all, I feel as though I've met him. You know, I've prayed to him and I've heard back, but you know, the tangible evidence for those who are like me, not that I approached my own faith this way or how I came to it, but for those who are like me, you know, of the 300 prophecies Jesus fulfilled in his life, even before his life, where he was born, the circumstances of his lineage, all of that, documented secular history about him. You know, all of those prophecies, just 8 of the most prevalent ones, like he was born, you know, in the specific town he was, things like how none of his bones would be broken in his death. The soldiers who crucified him and those 2 thieves on the cross, they broke their legs, but not Jesus's because he was already dead on the cross. And you know, obviously that's special because 3 days later he rose and 500 people saw him at one time, and that's, you know, recorded history. Just all these just 8 of those most important prophecies can be represented by 10 to the 17th power, which, to put it into, you know, perspective for you, would be like taking the state of Texas and filling it knee deep with, say, Girl Scout cookies or silver dollars and marking one of them, walking the entire state just from city to city, and then finally bending down and picking up one and having that one be the one that was marked. That's the probability of any human being fulfilling just 8 of the 300 prophecies Jesus fulfilled. The probability and the numerology, if you will, the numbers behind the whole 300 prophecies are like, I can't even handle that to take it in, let alone repeat it to you guys. So yeah, that's what I mean about God bless you. You know, God made this earth, God made you according to his holy word, which is the Bible, which, you know, we don't have time, but, you know, I have more than enough proof in my life. You know, proof that I got after I believed, and then I looked for proof, and I looked at it from like the outside. Like I wanted to say, okay, well, if I didn't believe, do I have a reason to, or is this fabricated kind of thing, right? So, you know, the Bible, and, you know, a 1,500-year span over 5 continents by so many authors, it's just insane. Some of the things that, like in the book of Job, which is the oldest known book in the Bible, how it says God hangs the earth from nothing. I mean, that was written thousands of years before it was even discovered that the earth was round and not suspended or on something, right? You know, the Bible is God's holy word, and it says, you know, before before the foundations of the earth, I knew you, in a different area. I formed you in your mother's womb. He knows the counts of the hairs on your head. Pretty amazing stuff. So when I say God bless you, I mean, the God of the universe, Jesus Christ, God bless you. And for any of you who don't know him, it's very simple. Every single person on this planet, falls short of the standard of God. I mean, he is perfect. That means you've never lied or thought about lying, or lusted after somebody, that's considered adultery in your heart, or stolen or wanted to steal. I mean, none of us are perfect, right? But the Bible's crystal clear that he is, and he has paid for our sins by dying on the cross, living a perfect life, dying on the cross and rising again, right? So anybody, it's also crystal clear that anybody who calls on his name will be saved. So anybody out there, maybe you're watching this and you're thinking I'm nuts. No, that's fine. I can't change your mind. And, most people who disagree won't even hear my side, which is fine. Like I said, you guys have watched maybe, 300 of my videos, and I've never gone here before. But, for any of you who are hearing this and you're like, yeah, that's really me. I guarantee you, if you get down on your knees and you just say, God, listen, I don't like who I am. I've made mistakes. I realize, Jesus, you're God, and you could forgive me and make me whole. And I want you to come into my life and change it for the better. He will, and it will blow your mind, the degree to which he cares about every little detail. I mean, he knows the numbers of the hairs on your head. He cares about you being stuck in traffic. He cares about, your rough marriage. He cares about your sick kid. He cares about even helping you match your shirt to your pants. He cares about everything. He loves you. So yeah, that's the reason that I sign off every video with God bless you. I just hope that some of the things that I've experienced in my life, would be present in yours. So anyways, I'm Drew. Hopefully this video was helpful. If it is, go ahead and get down on your knees and receive Christ, and then we'll spend eternity talking about it, okay? God bless.